final, just to see if the rain came just as David Coulthard has come in to put dry tyres on. I bet he's going to be regretting that decision in a second, but the other guys on dry tyres, Wirtz, Kovalainen, Button, Webber, Ralph, Barrichello, Fisichella and Sato. And
Ralf Schumacher has his second spin of the race, and something hit a camera there down at the exit of turn 15.
Spike I can see out of the window.
But there's Lewis Hamilton, and there is Kimi Räikkönen. He got the gap down. There's the spiker that's crashed. It's right in front of the pit lane. I hope it's not blocking the pit lane. Meanwhile, at the front, Alonso's run wide there, the final corner. At the front, Hamilton has got Räikkönen now breathing right down his neck. So Lewis Hamilton had a very slow lap that last time, a 1:50. Räikkönen was 3 seconds faster than him, and this is the net result. The rain is now falling here in Shanghai, and there's going to be real pressure here. Hamilton runs wide. This is for the lead of the race, and they are championship contenders as well. Räikkönen has the momentum. Hamilton puts up a very stiff fight though, and retains the lead.
I half wondered if Lewis, I don't think it's in his makeup to just let the Ferrari go. He doesn't need to fight with Räikkönen. What he does need to do, I'd have thought, is come in and get some inters, but even that's a gamble. We know that the intermediate tyres that he's on, come in to get dry tyres rather, we know that the intermediate is on are almost slick, but they're not going to give him any grip in these conditions. Does he need a fresh set of wet tyres, or is it worth absolutely just staying out on these? Of course, Webber has now come in and he's got rid of his dry tyres. These guys are going to get rid of inters for inters.
The crucial thing here is that both of these drivers are on the same tyre. They're both using very worn out wet tyres at the moment. With none of the men who've changed to dry tyres are a threat to them. Felipe Massa is a minute behind them on the road. He's the first of the men on the dry tyre. Here's Räikkönen as Hamilton goes off onto the wet line. So the crucial thing is, what does Hamilton do relative to Räikkönen? And of course Alonso, who is 20 seconds behind this pair. We've got yellow flags waving for that incident with the spiker earlier on. So no overtaking, of course, allowed under yellow flag zone. And that is the Toyota of Ralf Schumacher. Hamilton doesn't get a good drive out of that final corner. Räikkönen pulls alongside him, side by side here, and Hamilton once again resists and sweeps into turn one, retaining that lead.
Super bravery as Rosberg recovers from the gravel, and these are difficult times for all of the drivers out there. They're on a range of tyres, none of which are absolutely right for these conditions, unless you've just happened to have moved onto newish intermediate. But Lewis doesn't want to give that lead up. He's fighting for the World Championship. He doesn't really need to take too many risks with Kimi Räikkönen, but he just doesn't want to yield.
Well, the problem here is that the pace has completely gone. They're on the, as I say, rather bald, wet tyres. The rain appears to be falling lightly at the moment here, and Hamilton is dancing on a knife edge. His lap times are in the 1:55s. He's 10 seconds a lap slower than he was when he was pulling away earlier on from Kimi Räikkönen. Räikkönen seems to have the advantage in these conditions.
Right.
He pulls again alongside him, and Hamilton's going to have to yield this time. Through goes Räikkönen into the lead. Hamilton down into second place. He's still 17 seconds though ahead of Fernando Alonso, who's now behind him third place. So the lead changes here in Shanghai. The new leader is Kimi Räikkönen.
Yes, and Räikkönen's much faster through this long corner onto the back straight, as you can see now, and Hamilton will have no chance to come back to him. He's now got to start thinking about where the others are for the championship. Hamilton goes in too deep into what I believe is turn 8. Indeed it is. Here's 9, and Räikkönen has the racing line. Hamilton having to yield 3 abreast down the pit straight. What's going to happen here? Two Renaults, and that's just about frightened Nico Rosberg off the track. Those advertising hoardings seem as slippery as anything out there, and this is what happened. He's in a Renault sandwich effectively, and the one on the inside, they both make it through, and wow, just hanging on there through the apron, but Rosberg didn't make it. He went as far as the gravel trap.
Fisichella came out the best of those 3 then, as Ralf Schumacher commiserates with his Toyota mechanics. Just one more race for him then with this team before he walks away, possibly away from Formula 1 as well, who knows. Here's Lewis Hamilton. This is what happened before. That's when Ralf Schumacher spun out. That's a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, so that's the camera getting a whack from the from the spiker hitting the barriers extremely hard of Sutil, who parks up there. Meanwhile, Alonso is 2 seconds a lap faster than Lewis Hamilton. He's in third place at the moment. It's Hamilton who, of course, they were losing time fighting each other. But at the moment, of course, Lewis has got a different challenge. He cannot afford to spin that car or take too many risks. But at the same time, he's got to keep the pace up.
Well, he knows that Räikkönen is now ahead of him as he comes to lap the Toyota of Jarno Trulli. And he's not too worried about Räikkönen winning this race. If Hamilton finishes second, as long as Alonso finishes behind him, he's still going to be the world champion. So now he's thinking only of his mirrors. But look, Trulli almost unlaps himself. They're very close to each other. And Hamilton is really struggling. These wet weather tyres, we saw the baldness of that front left when he made his pit stop. He chose to leave the same tyres on, and they are basically just worn out. Räikkönen seems to be able to handle it better.
I hope he's not down to the canvas on his right rear tyre, Lewis Hamilton, but the car that just repassed him is a Toyota on dry tyres. Look at the white groove around. So Jarno Trulli quicker on dry tyres, and here comes Alonso chasing Hamilton. He is on those worn down intermediates though. Surely Hamilton's got to think about coming in the pits this time around, but which tyres would you put on? It would have to be the dries at the moment.
Well, he's far enough into this race now that he could fuel the car to the finish, Lewis Hamilton, but of course then it would be pretty heavy and that would affect his lap time, and if he were to need to change tyres again at a later stage, it would really cook his goose. Alonso's in the same position, but he seems to be faster, just as Räikkönen does. Räikkönen pulled away now 8 seconds over Lewis Hamilton. This is Button and Wirtz battling over 10th and 11th places.
Both on dry tyres at this stage, so that does suddenly seem to be the way. Yellow flags are waving there, but they're on the exit of the corner. I think Jensen will be okay. The pass was made before he got to the corner. Then he'll see the yellow flags waving for the Sutil car up at the top of the hill. So he'll be okay with that, I believe. And a picture then of Hamilton. It just looks, I don't know if it's a piece of paper stuck on his right rear or if it's down to the canvas. Hamilton getting very, very wide in turns 1 and 2. He's struggling for grip out there. He's got to come in. I think he's got some delamination on that right rear tyre. Surely the team have seen that.
Well, we've seen this before as his teammate Fernando Alonso comes into view. Lewis Hamilton had tyre problems before in Turkey. It cost him a lot of points. It could cost him a hatful of points and the possibility of walking away from this race as the world champion because his teammates sense an opportunity here. Ted Kravitz, what have you got?
McLaren have seen that, but they're just waiting until they absolutely have to bring Lewis Hamilton in. They're also waiting, Hamilton's engineers, just waiting to see what Alonso does. As in now, they come into the pits, and whose tyres have they been preparing? No, it's Alonso's tyres. They've got Alonso's tyres out in the pit lane. This is very strange. We'll see what they do at the moment. It's the dry tyre that they should be on, because everybody who's come in to put Inters on again has gone much slower. And as you saw, Jensen Button is out there on dry, is doing a good job.
Thank you, Ted. Into the pits anyway comes Lewis Hamilton. He goes straight on into the gravel trap. Can he keep the wheels spinning? Can he get some momentum going? No, he can't. It's all going to get away from him. He's not allowed to get a push. He's in the pit lane. Need to get the rule book out here and see if he can get a push in the pit lane. He's trying to keep the engine running. It's all getting away from him here. Räikkönen, the marshals don't seem to want to help him. And well, the chance to leave here as the world champion seems to have gone away. He was struggling like mad on those tyres out there, and they didn't bring him in, the McLaren team, any earlier. And this is the result of it. It looks like it's all going to be over. The rear wheels are still turning. You can see that right rear is down to the canvas. And
I don't understand why when wide it doesn't look that slippery. The mechanics can't go down and help him. They're not allowed past the white line at the beginning of the pit lane. Ted.
Utter frustration and despair down here at McLaren. The guys at the back of the garage have got their hands on their heads. The tyres that they brought out were in Alonso's covers, but they got Lewis's tyres as well, so they were ready. They'd seen it. They got on the radio. It worked in the Nürburgring. Tell the marshals to actually push you, but it seems that the message just got lost in translation and couldn't let the Chinese marshals, but now they've got Alonso's tyres in the pit lane too. Distraught at McLaren here.
Well, as things stand, this is going to turn the World Championship on its head. Kimi Räikkönen is on target for 10 points. He's 17 behind Hamilton. So that would take it on to, as he comes into the pit lane, that would take this championship on to Brazil in 2 weeks' time, with Räikkönen 7 points behind Hamilton. If Alonso can finish second, however, he would be just 4 points behind Hamilton going into the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's all over for Lewis Hamilton in China. He will not leave here as world champion. And can Kimi Räikkönen win this race ahead of Fernando Alonso?